Well, actually, good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're having a wonderful day, evening, morning, could be anything. Before I do this, and we'll get into any updated information going on, like the carrier has been seen passing through the Strait of Gibraltar. There are images now confirming that. A parliamentary member made some unbelievable statements today in Iran. There's a lot of rhetoric, of course, as usual. They're saying they're going to provide the United States with documents, a proposal within 3 days. Meanwhile, like I said, parliamentary members are saying some really wild rhetoric. And good morning to Lorenzo. I got to do the pop-outs. Let me do that first. Oh my gosh, here we go. Now. Oh gosh, let's not even go there. Now. All right. Oh gosh, let's not even go there. Oh gosh, they can hear me. Even go there. Don't confuse me so early. Just started. It's gonna be a long day, possibly a long night. Who knows? We'll get to that in a second. But before I play this, just started. Thanks to everyone in Discord. Who knows? And Dusty, Brian, KJ, Chaos, Nina, Tammy. The list goes on. Sacred, Stormtrooper. And somebody, if you can't put the link to Discord, there's an echo. There's an echo. We're going to have to figure that out. Put the link to Discord. There shouldn't be an echo. Oh, I know what it is. It's the YouTube. We're going to have to figure that out. It's YouTube. Got to mute the YouTube. Thank you for letting me know. Anyway, where were we? So I want to thank the echo's gone now. I want to thank everyone on Discord for contributing and helping put this together. It was a collaboration by many. Okay? I'm glad you told me about the echo because I don't want to play the song until we're ready. So I wrote the lyrics, but you shouldn't hear me twice now. I know there's a delay on YouTube, so what's up, Vincenzo and Ada and Kev, Smokey, JC, Nina, Red Bull, Sean. Yeah, I figured I'm good now. There's a little delay on YouTube, you know what I mean? It takes 30 seconds for you guys to see I fixed it. I actually fixed my audio in general. I've been doing a lot of tweaking. So this way I can, at some point later, maybe we'll bring our friends on Discord on. But I wrote the lyrics. Sean, now there's different versions. Brian put the music for this. There are others that did as well. With my lyrics, they put the music. There's going to be multiple versions at some point, okay? Like being in a cave. The sound should be fine. I don't know. You want me to put the mic up closer? I hate that. You know how much I hate that? Good morning, Brian. No, it wasn't you, Sean. And what's up, Chaos? Shalom. All right, here we go. Ready? KJ put this together, the graphics. We've tried to get this as quick as we could get it out there. What's up, Petros? Yeah, let's pin the Discord. Somebody put the Red Bull, put the Discord so I can pin it. Oh my God, that means I gotta remove the... All right. For Supreme Court. All right, we'll focus. If he says anything, we'll keep an eye, but I just don't want to focus on that. That has to do with the tariffs. Okay, good. There you go. If I have to guess, that has to do with the tariffs. Okay, it should be pinned now. Get ready, because this could be one heck of a little song. Here we go.
his hold, slowly as he moves. When he thinks it's safe, he does the alley groove. Shuffling through the maze, I squint and he looks around, checking if it's safe, not trying to make a sound. Fitted with his turban, he squeals with his tiny voice, looking sickly and weak, his fellow mice quickly rejoice. Look at our supreme leader, he smells as bad as he looks. Does he ever bathe? Don't talk or we are cooked. Ali the mouse comes out the hole, spewing his words of hate. Prayers obscure his evil intent, his followers take the bait. Ali the mouse, you foul creature, go run and hide. Rebellious mice at your heels, quickly go run inside. The good mice defeat the bad ones. Ali is scared to die. They all perish for him, believing all his lies. His final day approaches. He starts to lose his hair, starting to smell like rot, the stench no mouse could bear. The sounds of thunder scare him. The walls start to collapse. The mouse trap would have been quicker. Uh-oh, I think he crapped. The end of his reign is now inside. He utters his final breath. I knew I would die this night. Ali the mouse comes out the hole, spewing his words of hate. Prayers obscure his evil intent, his followers take the bait. Ali the mouse, you foul creature, go run and hide. Rebellious mice at your heels, quickly go run inside.
Ole! We worked on that last night together, a bunch of us. Oh my God. And trust me, I was careful when I wrote the lyrics, because I was like, oh shit, am I going to end up like Rushdie on some kind of a freaking hit list? So I believe me, you know, it's got a comedic theme, but not necessarily. But I wanted to make it more hardcore, but I said, oh shit, if I do that, that's it. I'm on the list. I'm on the list forever. Oh my gosh. So again, yeah, exactly. That was the design. Trust me, we were thinking like Acme Rockets, him. It may not be done. That's just a quick put together, because I have a lot of things in my mind for that, like running underground and a, you know, like kind of thing, and then maybe coming down and like Wile E. Coyote Roadrunner kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Oh my God. But we had a lot of fun putting that together, and I want to thank Brian, because Brian was the one that put the music for that together. Because you've seen all these mariachi like music videos that they put out with the drones or the missiles. It's like a game show from hell. It's like, what the hell? Oh my God. Oh my God, where can I put that where you guys can grab it? JC, let me put my email, and I can send it to you. Once I know your email, I can forward it to you, maybe through WeTransfer or Transfer P Cloud. So I'm going to put the email up on the screen. Then we're going to get to more serious stuff. So contact me there. I'll send you the video, because it may be too large to send through email. I may have to use WeTransfer or Transfer P Cloud. You'll know, because I'll leave the mouse video. Yeah, for real, a deadly game show. So you can email me, and then I could send it to you privately, if that works. Yeah, it could be the Supreme Court. It's probably have to do with the tariffs, if I had to guess. And we'll keep an eye on what the president says, but I just don't want to focus on that, because if anything important comes out, we'll know about it. Volume is low. Oh yeah, you're right, because I was singing. I was singing to the song Ali the Mouse. Oh my God. Let me stop. Are you guys, anybody? Yes, it does, doesn't it? But isn't it Mush Ali? Ali the Mouse? Mush Ali? Isn't that it, right? No? I think so, right? Mush Ali? I had to do it last night because, like I said, because we had a conversation on Discord, which it's pinned on the chat. If you ever want to join us, it's growing. But they were talking about stuff, and I said, I'm going to go leave right now. I'm going to write the lyrics. Ali the Mouse. And they all started like, oh shit, what's Bill going to be up to now? And then when I copied and pasted the lyrics, and I said, you guys have the utmost permission from me to do what you want with it. Because this isn't about monetization on any level. It's a community. And they came up with some awesome results. So this is a collaboration between a few of us with the music side, me with the lyrics. And that's one result. Isn't that awesome? Ali the Mouse. Tonight might be... What's up, Navi? I know, Sean. Nina gave me that bill. That's like a cartoon thing. Mush Ali, it's really like meant for kids in Iran. And I'm like, oh shit. But people are saying it on the streets of Iran, right? I mean, I've seen caricatures of the Ayatollah looking like a mouse, and it kind of looks like him, to be honest. So I said, I get it. And Nina was like, Bill, it'll be all right. Just do it. You know what I mean? But I didn't. No, no deleting. At least Ada is on it. How you doing? And for those in Israel and in the Muslim community, I know you're having your religious. I wish you blessings to all of you out there. All right, wait, Petros. Guys, listen, I have info from the army. The high commanders took off from Athens to Lamaka, Cyprus today, and also German commanders to... Listen, this shit is going down soon. This shit about negotiation that I've been reading, you guys don't even understand. You don't even understand the rhetoric. And it's actually like, don't believe any... Really. I'm just saying, be very careful what you're using as sourcing, because you know how that goes. With sourcing, officials say this, sourcing says this. It is really, really difficult to vet something because a lot of it is speculation. And even from what sitting here in this chair, it's totally speculation. Because unless it comes from the president or Rubio, Netanyahu, the Ayatollah, Mouse, all that, unless it comes directly, when they say sources say this, officials say this, you take that shit with a big pile of salt. Even when my friends are telling me stuff privately, and like the people I know, I have to take that with a grain of salt. Everything. So we have to be really careful. But unlike that, and I'll put Flight Radar up on the screen because I'm not putting myself up on the full screen all day. Not even 5 minutes. I'm drinking coffee. I had a good night's sleep. What the hell? Oh, this isn't civilian. I was going to say that's how too many planes for military. It kind of made me bug out for a second. Let's see. Let me just zoom it out before I put it on the screen. Wow, it is the transponder. You know, we've seen, when the transponders are on, it's like there's not many transponders on now. They don't want you to see. They did want you to see the buildup at one point, but it's starting to get really quiet with the transponders on this. But you can see the UK still. Now this could be interesting. Could there be something going on in Syria, or because you got a tanker here by the RAF, another tanker here by the RAF. The RAF's got a few planes up. Actually, quite a few. This looks like a super galaxy, maybe, or a tanker going back. It's a super galaxy. But it's starting to quiet down, which means I think they got a lot of the assets they need there now. I mean, it's starting to wind down a little bit, which tells me they are close, if not really close, to being ready here in the event of. At this point, in my own opinion, I don't think it's an if, it's a when. That's just my opinion. But there's not that much going on the screen, to be honest. Let me see if I have this picture. And you'll see some of the images coming. And there's one as it passes through the Strait of Gibraltar. There's one. Here's Arleigh Burke. Let's see what else we got. Another image of the carrier. So, excuse me. Another little interesting side thing here, and of course there's this here from Iran International. The Ford reaches the Mediterranean. But remember, they were talking last night. I had Chris, a few of us were having the discussion about the NATO exercise. Let me just take these out. Well, we're pulling our fighters out of that. U.S. pulls fighter jets from NATO exercise in Norway over Iran tensions. Interesting, right? They're putting a lot of assets in the region. A lot. A ton. Okay, what's going on in chat? Let me catch up. Oh, you like the song, Gerald? Don't give me the credit. Don't give me the credit. Like I said, I wrote the lyrics. You know, and the guys were using AI for the music, whether it's Suno or these other platforms that are out there. It was a collaborative effort. But and KJ with the video little clips. We put it together really quick, but we wanted to play that because we know, unfortunately, we are probably going to get bombarded at some point if and when things start. You can expect the spamming and the trolling. You know it's coming. I know it's coming. And our mods know it's coming. So when that video is designed, believe it or not, this was the thing we were talking about last night on Discord. When they come in, I'm playing Ali the Mouse. And we have other versions. It's going to drive them nuts. It's going to drive them nuts. That is the point. Bill, is it normal that there are some military in the room to be in the Supreme Court update? No, because I know that the courts ruled on the tariffs. I don't know how military people are in there. That doesn't make sense to me. Where is this being streamed? If you guys got a link, put it in with the president. Airport Sofia closed. Good morning, Dusty. Okay, that's my boss. Good morning to everybody. Yes, Navy Mom, thank God. Oh my God, you don't even know what happened last night, and I'm not going to get into details. As we know, there are folks that watch on the stream. Oh my God, what is she sending me? Hold on, the boss is messaging me. Okay. There are a lot of people here, whether they're spouses, moms, brothers, sisters, family, relatives, friends of those in the military. And listening on a private conversation last night, it was not live, listening to the family members and what they're going through is unimaginable from looking, from their perspective. Oh my gosh. I am not going to get into details, but Chaos knows, Tammy knows, there was someone that came on and I was like, oh my gosh. It's like the entire family is going overseas. Or they're occupied here. Please send me that. What? Sorry, my boss is messaging me. Please send me that short Onyx intro video and the end one as well. Okay, hold on. I gotta give something to the boss. I do work too. I mean, I think so, but I do. Okay. I'll get with her soon. But yeah, to hear the stories of those, it's gut wrenching. Like waiting for them to call, just to talk to them, or God forbid receiving that call that you never want to receive. It is. I mean, really. The stories that we're hearing, and Tammy's, I don't know if Tammy's in chat, but she's one of them. Yeah, I think something's going down. I don't know about this weekend. It could. Who knows? We could speculate all day long. This weekend, next month, whatever. And Petros, you should definitely join. Those that you want to join the Discord. There's a lot of great people in there. A lot, and it's private and it's meant for the community. We don't want people in there that are going to stir up things. If you do, you're gone. This is about the community. And there, it will be controlled. Here, it's freedom of speech. Unless people get disrespectful, then they're done. It's about freedom of speech. But when we do that Discord, it's about that community that is built here. And if you're going to come in to disrupt, you're gone. It's as simple as that. It's not going to be tolerated. It's one thing on YouTube when we're streaming. I'm all about freedom of speech, freedom of expression, opinions. As long as it's not disrespectful, doesn't cross certain lines, that's fine. But if you come into Discord and you come in to that group chat, we're a community in there, and we all have each other's backs in there. So just saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But Petros, you're a mod. Be careful in there. Just remember, there's a mod chat. There's private. There's all kinds of stuff in there. Anyway, let's get back to the topic here. Okay, my boss is still messaging me. Yeah, we are a family in Discord. And here too. Okay. So yeah. If Saudi Arabia is supposed to be a so rich in mineral, why don't they just avoid the Persian Gulf and just use the Red Sea. Because probably a lot of the facilities are on the Persian Gulf and not on the Red Sea. And you got to remember, what's on the Red Sea? I mean, they can do it at the bottom. But Yemen, Saudi Arabia, if you think about the Red Sea, it's probably logistical. It's probably a logistical issue. All right, so let's get back to some of the other stuff going on. Because there's quite a bit. Excuse me. Let's see what they're saying. So the president did wish happy Ramadan to the people of Islam. As of now, the chances of an agreement are extremely low, informed Iranian source tells this media outlet. Excuse me. Here's the other little flip side that I keep talking about, like this mixed signal thing. Iran's foreign minister, this is what he said. In 2 to 3 days, we will have an initial draft agreement ready to submit to Steve Witkoff. We will need another session to talk about that draft, and then use that as a basis for further talks to work on details and progress towards a serious agreement. Delay, delay, delay. And this is only about the nuclear. It ain't happening. They're trying to delay. It's not going to work. The president's not going to tolerate that. He already told them, you have a timeline. Take it now or leave it. Really. And what's up, Helmet? Yeah, I showed images, Helmet, of the carrier. Quite a few, actually. Just now. I can put up really quickly again, but yeah, we've seen images already of the carrier entering the strait, passing through the strait. So I'll just do it really quickly again. Here's a destroyer. So let's just do this quickly. So yeah, it is confirmed. There's no doubt about that now. It is confirmed. They're pouring in the images that people are taking from the shore or from ships or from whatever. They're coming in now. But let me read to you. This is extensive. I read it earlier for those on, before we came on here, for those on Discord. And they're repeating it. Okay, I'm going to read this. This is earlier today, local time in Iran. This is Iranian conservative member of parliament, Dr. Amir Hossein Sabeti. If until today there were 1,000 reasons not to negotiate with America under the current circumstances, Trump's threat last night and his setting of a 10 to 15 day, I didn't hear 15, I heard him say 10 to 15 day deadline for an agreement with Iran is the 1,001st reason proving that negotiations with America will be fruitless. The fact, and this is, remember, this is in parliament, in Iranian parliament earlier. The fact that Trump says Iran has only 10 to 15 days left to reach an agreement with America means one of two things. One, either Trump's decision to go to war with Iran is already final, and he once again wants to use the cover of negotiations so he can blame everything on Iran and say that because Iran did not sign an agreement, America was forced to carry out a military campaign. Or two, he is saying this to apply more pressure on Iran in order to receive greater concessions in the negotiations. I wish the president, the foreign minister, and the decision makers in the nuclear committee of the Supreme National Security Council would for once abandon this repetitive and failed recipe, negotiating with the U.S. under any circumstances. In my opinion, we should announce the end of negotiations and make it clear to the U.S. that this time the war may not last 12 days. It could last 120 days. The way to prevent war is not to negotiate with America at any cost and under the shadow of threats. And then this is underlined. The real way to prevent war with the United States is to convey a message of power and to prove readiness for a long war of attrition. This is something Trump absolutely does not want, and the prospect of a long foreign war will certainly influence his decisions. So that was a parliament member. Now, Reza Pahlavi calls upon Muslims in Iran to revolt against the Islamic Republic if they want to safeguard the future of Islam in Iran and want to continue practicing their religious and rights peacefully in a non-political manner. This post, this is coming from the media outlet for the regime. This post came in response to widespread calls from the opposition to start burning Qurans, which made a lot of anti-Islamic Republic protesters that were still nominally Shia doubt their real intentions. This is what the shit they want to stir up. They want to stir up that dissent, confusion. You know, they're going to use religion, of course, as part of that. You know that. Of course they are. Look what we're dealing with. There's more. And remember, this is insightfulness coming from within Iran. Parliament members. You heard the first one. There's another one that's extensive from another individual. It is crazy when you hear it. I'm trying to find it now. Unless they took it down, which is possible. Sometimes they take their shit down. So I'm going to check really quick. But the rhetoric coming from within is really ratcheting it up. What? This is what they're saying, the other side. Israeli-funded media continue to build justification for strikes on Iranian hospitals. This is exactly the same. Hamas has a command center underneath Al-Shifa Hospital narrative that enabled the IDF to indiscriminately bomb Gaza hospitals. Of course they're going to use hospitals and schools and mosques and densely populated areas, because this is their playbook. Well, we're supposed to trust you're not going to use hospitals, mosques, schools, etc.? Give me a break. That's your playbook. It's your proxy playbook. It's absurd and it's insane, because that's what they're going to do. Obviously, they don't care about their own citizens because they indiscriminately slaughter them. I mean, they went into hospitals murdering people that were wounded or taking them out. I mean, really? Really? You're going to use that line? Really? Are you? I mean, are we supposed to take that freaking seriously? President is going live. All right. Sean, keep an eye on that for me. The reason I say that is because I don't want to just sit here and I want to focus on, Iran, because there's probably going to be a lot of domestic conversation he's going to do right now. So if you want to watch it, and then if you see anything, let me know, and then give me a timestamp and we can go look back at it. If you can, or anyone. Yeah, you can't deal. Thank you, Sean. All right. Let me see if I find what I'm looking for here. Because you got to hear it. You just have to hear it. Oh, here it is. I found it. It's long, so get ready. This is long. I may need to take a breath before I start reading all this. But this is this morning in Iran. This is Mahdi Mohammadi, strategic advisor to the Speaker, chairman of the Iranian parliament, Mohammed Bagher Ghalibat, whatever the hell. So this is the strategic advisor to the Speaker, the chairman of the Iranian parliament, what I'm about to read to you today. This is what I mean. They might say something, the foreign minister might say one thing, You're getting the heartbeat from within the parliament. This is why we have to do something, to me, immediately. As soon as possible, we need to take these fuckers out. I'm using the language, I know. We got to take them out. Enough is enough. Enough is enough! Quote, the threat against Iran has reached an unprecedented level, or more precisely, America wants us to think it has. In response, Iran has raised the threat against America to an unprecedented level. The stage is now set for a historic confrontation. I don't know about America, but Iran has no reason to retreat. It is clear that Netanyahu, the New York Jew, and the Zionist neo-conservatives control Trump. Trump makes decisions based on the information these groups provide to him. The common theme in all this information is that Iran is weakened and there is historic opportunity to attack it. What this information does not convey to Trump is that Iran will fight a different kind of war, an existential war. It is not wrong to assume that one of the goals of the escalation and rhetorical intensification by the U.S. is to force Iran to accept its demands in negotiations. But when looking at the negotiations, the U.S. is not really conducting negotiations. It is only demanding surrender. It gives nothing and wants everything. Tusi was right when he said that. It's lose-lose for them. If they agree, they're done. If they don't agree, they're done. It's lose-lose. They're done. And they know it. They know they're backed into a corner. It is not wrong to assume that one of the goals of the escalation and rhetorical intensification. Okay, I read that. Iran has taken the talk seriously for the simple reason that it wants to exhaust all options before entering into conflict, but it sees nothing to give or take. Tehran's assumption is that with this negotiation model, even if Iran surrenders, war is certain, so what is the real reason for concessions? The problem is that America has probably made up its mind, and even surrender in the nuclear field will cause several more aircraft carriers to be sent to the region. In this situation, there is no choice but to confront all forces. The situation is at a stage where calculations cannot be corrected, only through confrontation and paying a heavy price. Iran has negotiated, not built nuclear weapons, respected the region and the energy market during the 12-day war, that's threatening the Persian Gulf, and has not activated its naval and land capabilities. There is no longer any reason for restraint. If Iran's survival is threatened, the regime, not Iran, make that clear, the regime. If Iran's survival is threatened, nothing in the region is worth leaving unharmed, so they're threatening the whole region. What should be taken into account? Maybe America expects Iran to surrender to its intimidation, but here, no one commits suicide out of fear of death. You know how that goes. The martyrdom, the virgins, you know that deal. On the contrary, what the world needs to pay attention to is that Iran has taken an operational stance against America and intends to attack with all its might if necessary. When existence is at stake, retreat is not logical. So they're gonna do everything. They're gonna unleash everything. They're not going down. If they go down, they're taking others with them. I've been saying that. That's what you got to be concerned about. And you never know if they might do a preliminary strike. They will love to take Israel down with them because they know they're going to be done. They know it. They know it. But they're going to do everything they can to inflict as much damage, casualties. Forget it. That's what that tells me. Now, Iran's armed forces are in the hands of those experienced in a successful and historic war with the Israeli regime. Really? It's in the hands of the experienced, what? of those experienced in the successful and historical war with the Israeli regime, you lost that. You are lucky that the president told Israel to back off. You are lucky. Very lucky. Experience. They took out your commanders. Are you kidding me? What experience? Whose experience? They wiped out your generals and top commanders. This is such bullshit. When I read it, it just drives me nuts. From the first hour after the war, these forces have examined and repeatedly practiced the ideas that should have been implemented in that war, but for some reason were not. This time, they will not miss the opportunity. There's a lot in Iran that says we should have launched everything at Israel and not given Israel the chance to attack us. So that kind of makes me a little worried when they say that they missed an opportunity by launching whatever they had at once. That's kind of what I'm getting from that. Despite all the problems and tensions, there are currently no major political or social divisions in Iran. What bullshit is that line? What bullshit is that line? Despite all the problems and tensions, there are currently no major political or social divisions in Iran. What about all those people on the streets? No social divisions? Really? Where are you hiding? With him? In the hole? You blind? That's just insane in itself. If Trump were smart, he would allow an independent team to assess the information Netanyahu provided him about the internal situation in Iran. Oh, really? He needs Netanyahu to tell him what's going on inside Iran? Really? He needs independent, of course. You don't think our independence, our people telling him what's going on? Yeah, that's the independence, dude. Yeah. Iranian society wants to solve the problem. Oh, yeah, they do. You. And get out of this situation. Oh, yeah, they do. By getting rid of all of you. And this is something we all know must be paid for and completed. Yeah, you're right. For once, you're right. If possible, through an agreement, no. And if not, through war, yeah. That's what it's coming down to. To get rid of all of you. No one in Iran wants to surrender to Netanyahu and Trump. Oh, really? Surrender. Now people in Iran are not necessarily even against war. No, they're not, because they want help and they want you out. They welcome it. The question is, will we win the war? If the enemy makes a mistake, it will see that with Iran's military surprises, we got surprises too. The Iranian people will become united defenders of Iran. Oh, really? Yeah, they will. They're going to unite against you. And you're still going to have, the populists that support the regime, the pro-regime. You know that. They're out there. We know that. But the vast majority want this shit done and over with. This time, we are destined to win. It is a historical duty of a civilization thousands of years old. Too bad you don't look at your history. Against the demand for surrender. Of course, we still have a long way to go before we reach the end of this game. The pace of development is high and decisions are made instantly. On the Iranian side, the issue is clear. Here we go. We will accept a reasonable agreement and fight against surrender. It remains to be seen what will happen on the American side. Bill, look at the other chat, the picture. Okay. Yeah. It's just, this is coming from the advisor to the chairman of parliament in Iran. This is what he said earlier. How do you negotiate with that? You tell me how you negotiate with that. And there's lies, obviously, in there. Blatant lies. But you can see the escalation the tension is definitely building up to like that point where things are just gonna go off. It's just building and building. I see nothing coming down. All I see is shit going up. It's at a boiling point. It really is. And that should concern everyone. And then there's other things going on. The Russian and Chinese are coming in with ships for an exercise. You know, there's stuff going on with NATO to the north. There's all kinds of stuff going on. Uh-oh, they got a new one. Iran has now come to the conclusion that the only way they can stop this cycle of war is to draw blood and to inflict significant harm on the U.S. and Israel. This is from the Associated Press. Just came out. Even if that comes at a very high price for themselves. Holy shit. It's coming. No one controls the president. He's going to do what he wants to do. Are you kidding me? Do you know the president? We here in the United States, we are very familiar how the president operates. No one's going to tell him what to do. He's going to make the decision on his own. Whoever's talking to him, whether it's Witkoff, Netanyahu, Rubio, Pete Hegseth, it doesn't, even Laura Loomer, it doesn't matter. He's going to reach that conclusion on his own. Give me a break. It's maddening. All right, where's the picture that I'm supposed to look in Discord? Look at the other chat, the picture. I don't know where to look, Nina. I'm in there. I don't know what you're referring to. I'm going to scroll up. Is it... I don't know what the hell I'm looking at here. Kermit put something in there. Looks like a bunch of code. I don't know what to make of that. You have to tell me specifically what picture I'm supposed to look at. Oh, they're coming out with something else. Oh, it is the Supreme Court strikes out down tariffs. That's what that's about. New. It will be very hard for the Trump administration to do a one-and-done kind of attack in Iran this time around because the Iranians would respond in a way that would make all-out conflict inevitable. Again, Associated Press is putting stuff out. No, scroll up. Well, look what I sent in news channel. Unconfirmed. I do not want to put anything about unconfirmed. I don't want to do that. Because that if it says unconfirmed, then that's a concern. I don't want to be here propaganda for either. I don't want to do that. That's just me, though. If you look at this picture, Bill is quoting him. Oh, shit. That's him? That's who I was... That's... Dude, that dude is off the scale. That dude is off the scale. Goldie was on a show. I think it was... Who was it? Was she on with Piss Morgan? She spanked him. She spanked him. She put him in his place. She silenced him. Trying for a Weissen. I have to go... Oh my God, you reminded me. I have to go get that at the distributor. Some Hefeweizen. Spaten. Polana. Depends. Anyway, I'll show the image, but I know what you're showing now about that photo. I don't know really what the relevance is, but I'll put it. This dude makes my skin crawl. Is it really after 1 already? Oh my gosh. It's because I started late. This dude, oh my God. This dude makes my skin crawl. I can't even watch him. He does a lot of YouTube stuff. And I try to watch because I want to see what he has to say, just to see what comes out of this person's mouth. And there's like a couple of individuals that do their podcast with this guy. They give him a voice, and they look like they hate the United States as much as he does. They do. Really. Seriously. It makes my skin crawl. And they sit there. No. No. All right, so you're saying in the news, KJ? I can't really read. Are you talking about the next 72-hour thing, KJ? I'm not sure. I don't want to get taken off track here, trying to figure this out. Yeah, he is the number one propaganda. That dude makes my skin freaking crawl. Not the same guy. All right, I'm not going to worry about that because this is going to create chaos in here. What's going on in Discord to here. It's going to just cause issues. The flow. I appreciate what you guys are trying to do, but it's difficult. This was a few hours ago. Iran's foreign minister said on Friday that the United States has not asked Iran to permanently stop uranium enrichment, pushing back on reports that Washington was seeking zero enrichment. It's so much conflicting stuff. We are not talking about we are not talking about is how to make sure that Iran's nuclear program, including enrichment, is peaceful and would remain peaceful forever. He also said there's no military solution to Iran's nuclear program and the only path forward is diplomacy, adding that Iran was prepared for both negotiations and war. Well, get ready. It's not just about your nuclear program. It's about your ballistics, your funding for the proxies, the people of Iran, of course, that you have locked up, executing, etc., rounding them up door to door, going in houses. This is insane. It's insane. It really is. It's insane. And like I said, the rhetoric is just, it's getting worse. It's like they almost know that it's coming. Okay, good. Finally. I'm going to put this article up. I hope this happens, a bipartisan support of this. I want to see who's responsible here. Bipartisan lawmakers say Congress should not tie Trump's hands on Iran. Who are they? Mike Lola. He's from New York. Yep. Republican from New York. I don't know who this is. From Jersey. Said they would oppose the bipartisan Massey-Connor War Powers Resolution, which seeks to require explicit congressional authorization for military action against Iran. So the important thing here is, if you even get a few, forget about the House, because the House is controlled by the Republicans, but the Senate, it's controlled too. It's not going to pass. It's not going to go nowhere. Whatever they try is not going to go nowhere, because even Democrats are starting to come to the side of this, bipartisan. They're done. It's not going anywhere. So that's kind of an important, as far as hanging this up in Congress. Think of it as the War Powers Act. That's not going to hang it up. Because there's bipartisan support to support the president on Iran. You got to remember, for a lot of members of the Congress, this goes back decades, dealing with Iran. Decades. Because a lot of them have been there for, that's why I'm all about term limits, but a lot of them have been there for decades. A lot of these members, on both sides, they've been there forever. So they're like Lindsey or Schumer, some of the people that have been there for like ever. So I don't see that flying in any way. In any way. And that's good to see that unity. And I hope the people of the United States unite as well behind the people of Iran and the president. I hope. And there's, like I said, there's conflicting information coming out. Yeah, his counter proposal could be ready within 2 or 3 days. That keeps being pushed out there. And the president did make this comment. He may be considering a limited strike on Iran. I guess I can say I'm considering that. Of course he's considering that. He's considering all kinds of things. What do you want him to say? It's like retarded. It really is. Like, they ask stupid questions. You wonder about the press. And that's another thing. I should just do it right now. I should put all the media outlets on my TV, which I might. What are they talking about? What are they talking about? Do the American people even realize how close to war we are with Iran right now, in general? No, because they're watching Nancy Guthrie. No, my prayers go out to her and the family, of course. But they're not even covering this. They're not giving it its due diligence to let the American people know what's going on. What, are they going to just tell them when they're live from, like CNN, live from Tehran, showing conflict? And then explaining to people why? Or trying to flip and control the narrative of the why? Instead of giving background how this all started and where we're at now? Give me a break. It will really make you go nuts. It really. And I'm going to do it. Wait, let's do it. Let's just do it. I'm going to get my remote control for the TV and I'm going to put it on. We'll go to Fox, CNN. I don't know. We'll just check. Let's just see. I know it's not. Matter of fact, we're not going to do it now. We're not going to do it now. We have to wait. We have to wait for the top of the hour where they talk about the more important news. It's always at the top of the hour. Right now, they could be talking about anything. So that wouldn't be necessarily fair. It's probably with the president and the Supreme Court, with the tariff thing. It's probably focused on, and of course, Nancy Guthrie. Oh, the president is on. He's on every channel.
That is far smaller than people would ever think.
President Trump reacts to Supreme Court striking down most of his tariffs.
I won by millions of votes. We won in a landslide.
He goes,
with all the cheating that went on, there was a lot of it. We still won in a landslide. Too big to rig. But these people are not.
Let's see.
The small.
It's on every channel, even the networks.
Won by millions of votes. We won in a landslide.
I am ashamed of certain members of the Supreme Court. It's on every channel here in the United States.
I would say,
like the major networks.
Just for a country itself, so important. Because we're doing so well as a country. We've never done so well.
Except the Olympics.
It's so relaxed. It's so effortless. And it's only
NBC is still covering the Olympics.
Doing so well as a country. We've never done so well. The good news is that...
So, every outlet, ABC, CBS, all of them. Of course, all the cable networks are covering his speech, what he's saying right now. Every one of them. Iran has issued a NOTAM for where? Jedi. The president is not getting cold feet. No way. So, he's on right now, but he's talking about the tariffs. Because there was a 6-3 decision by the Supreme Court that struck it down. Now, I don't know what he's going to plan to do because that's the Supreme Court. That's the highest court. So I don't know what's going to happen. I don't want to get into that conversation. But he's not happy. He's not happy. But that's why he's speaking right now. Because the Supreme Court ruled against his tariffs. But I'm curious, and I hope Sean is still watching. Keep us posted if he mentions anything to do. And I will too. I'll keep an eye. Trump said the justices who rebuked tariffs are a disgrace to our country. It's on the bottom scrolled. He's not happy. All right, I'm eating coffee cake as as I'm sitting here. Jedi, where was the NOTAM issued? In Iran. We should look at civilian traffic. Still a ton. Look at that. Eastern Iraq. A ton. Another thing too is, would the president do anything without being in the Situation Room once something starts? I don't think he'll be speaking right now. Excuse me. And and something going down on his order. I would think he wants to be in the Situation Room when he initiates it with the people in the inner circle. Now, I know a lot of people say, oh, the markets need to be closed. Oh, it doesn't matter about the market. It doesn't matter about this, that. Well, the markets don't close here for another 2.5 hours. Could the court's tariff ruling delay? No way. No way, Kevin. No way. He's not going to let that stop him from taking action. And I don't know. I don't know how this is going to play out with the tariffs. I have no idea. Because the Supreme Court is the highest court in the land. I don't know what he's going to do from this point out. I don't know. I just don't know what the plan is from their perspective, what they're going to do here. Because it was 6-3. It wasn't even 5-4. It was 6-3. Which I'm thinking, and I want to get into it, Alito, Thomas, and one of the other more conservative justices were probably the three. But that means 3 crossed over. That's why he's upset. And these are the people that he put in there. So he's not happy. Because it's a 6-3 advantage right now, conservative to liberal in the Supreme Court. So that means 3 of them flipped over. So he's not happy. Yeah, it's a lot of money, the tariffs. Yes, a lot of money. But again, this is going to be a legal issue that goes on, wrangling. Who knows? They just did. That is the highest court in the land, the Supreme Court. That's why he's having a conference right now about it. It was 6-3. They struck his tariffs down. So I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how this is going to play out. I don't. It goes through a process and then appeals from the lowest court, and then they appeal the appeals court. It goes up the chain, and then they'll keep appealing whichever side it is, and then eventually it gets up to the top, Supreme Court. And that's the one. That's the final level where things are determined in the court process. And he lost. And he's pissed, to say the least. He's not happy. And I'm sure they're gonna try to find another way to work around the Supreme Court decision. So that's why I said, even though this happened, there's probably going to be a lot of things that are going to have to happen for days, weeks, months to come. How this plays out, that decision. Yeah. I'm sure the clickbait craziness is out there over this alone. Or the UFO stuff. I can only imagine. JC. It is crazy. It is crazy, dude. Oh, another thing we were talking about last night. You guys got to see the latest map. But it's not updated perfectly. So, let me get to that. I'm going to put my screen. I'll do it this way. There's not much coming out. Let me see if the... Yeah, there's more. They're showing the pictures of the carrier. What's this? Yeah. Mike Huckabee was interviewed on Fox News. If there's not a deal, and a deal means no nuclear enrichment and no ballistic missile expansion, then there is no deal. If they don't believe President will act militarily, they have a short memory. I'll play the Huckabee clip.
If there's not a deal, and a deal means they get rid of their nuclear enrichment, they don't have any more aspirations for nuclear weapon, they quit killing their citizens, and they start lowering the inventory of ballistic missiles, and especially the range. If they don't do that, President Trump has said there is no deal. If they don't believe President Trump will do what he says in a military action, then they're not real smart. and they certainly have a short memory. They don't remember what happened to them last summer.
So that was on Fox News. Huckabee was being interviewed. So, for those that think that the president will have cold feet and back down, remember, do you think he wants to be in the same breath as Obama and Biden? Personally, from his own personal standpoint, do you think he wants to be considered like Obama and Biden? That alone will tell you a lot. Heck no. Just based on that alone, let alone everything else that's going on. There's no way he wants to be in the same breath or look back in history as drawing red lines and similarities to Obama in Syria or Biden. There is no way he wants to be in that discussion. That's just from a personal perspective. Do you know what I mean? Good morning, Magoo, or good afternoon. Let me see what they're saying now. They're putting the same thing as they're putting the Associated Press stuff out. They're putting out a lot of stuff with the Associated Press. And I'll repeat it. Iran has now come to the conclusion. I don't know where they get their sourcing from. Iran has now come to the conclusion that the only way they can stop this cycle of war is to draw blood and to inflict significant harm on the U.S. and Israel, even if that comes at a very high price for themselves. Associated Press. So there's a lot of that out there. I can destroy a country, but I can't charge $1. Oh my God, that's on the bottom of the screen. What did he say? What did he say? I can destroy a country, but I can't charge $1.
Tariffs. They merely overruled a particular use of IEEPA tariffs. And essentially, it's used to get a fee. I can do anything I want with IEEPA. Anything. I just can't charge anybody for it. I can license, I just can't charge them. It's ridiculous, but it's okay because we have other ways.
Let's listen to what he's saying. It's on my TV.
The ability to block, embargo, restrict, license, or impose any other condition.
I have a PA system connected to my TV, so it's like a major system.
With the United States under IEEPA has been fully confirmed by this decision. So now there's no doubt, because, there were a lot of questions about tariffs because no president was smart enough to use them to protect our country from those countries and businesses that were ripping us off. You took a look at the deficits that we had with some of these countries. It was disgraceful what they got away with.
Obviously, he hasn't spoken about Iran because he's talking about this.
But now we know because this
I don't know if he's going to take questions.
All those things that some people weren't sure about.
How is the sound of this, by the way?
And it says so. In order to protect our country, a president can actually charge more tariffs than I was charging in the past period of a year under the various tariff authorities. So we can use other of the statutes, other of the tariff authorities, which have also been confirmed and are fully allowed. Therefore, effective immediately, all national security tariffs under Section 232 and existing Section 301 tariffs, they're existing, they're there, remain in place, fully in place, and in full force and effect. Today I will sign an order to impose a 10% global tariff under Section 122 over and above our normal tariffs already being charged. And we're also initiating several Section 301 and
He's
other
digging in
investigations to
on
protect our country from unfair trading practices of other countries and companies. Thank you for your attention to this matter, and I say quite simply, which I've said for a long time, make America great again. And interestingly, we've already made it great, so I don't have to use that, but I don't think we'll ever give up on MAGA. MAGA is always going to be with us. If you have a few questions. You can.
Here we go with the questions.
But just to end, so we're going forward. We will be able to take in more money, and there'll no longer be doubt, because there was always doubt. I know the people that brought the lawsuit, and they're sleazebags, major sleazebags, but I know them, and they're foreign country centric. They were sending things into our country, and the people representing them knew full well, but they were sending things into our country, and they were beneficial to other countries, but very, very
Fighters
bad
over the
for
house.
us. And I stopped
Going
it,
to the
and
base.
we'll just keep it going. So we have we have a totally firm decision now, and I don't think the court meant it, because the court doesn't show great spirit toward our country, in my opinion. A lot of bad decisions, but there are usually ways around it. This is something we could have done, as Justice Kavanaugh said, we could have done this originally, but we're doing it now, and the numbers could be far greater than the hundreds of billions we've already taken in. Yeah, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I'm very curious. You've spoken about
Thank you so much, Mr. President. Justice Thomas and Alito, as you know, are the most conservative constitutional justices. Do you think that you'll get to appoint 2 more justices later this term with similar ideologies? And what type of vetting process will they go through to ensure they uphold?
I don't know, but they're great justices. That's all I can say. And I hope they're going to be around a long time. I hope they're going to stay healthy. They're great people. They're great. And Justice Alito, too, to add to the group.
I knew it was going to be Thomas and Alito.
With a great love of our country and a great understanding of the law.
Mr. President, are you going to ask Congress to take additional action on tariffs now?
No, I don't need to. It's already been approved. I mean, I would ask Congress and probably get it. When people look at the real numbers, and you look at hundreds of billions of dollars that have come into our country. Yesterday I was at a steel plant, as you know, and went to great place, great plant, great wonderful people. And they were telling me, I said to them, you were there, a lot of the press in this room. Of course, I don't think this plane's big enough to take the press in this room, but a lot of the press right here. We're in Georgia. And I said to the owner, I made a speech at a factory. They made steel products. And I said, how are you? Nice to meet you. How's business? President, I'd love to kiss you. This is a very powerful man. I don't want to be kissed by that man. But a very powerful, strong man. He's been in the steel business for many years. His father started it. And he said, sir, I want to kiss you. I said, why? He said, because we were down to working 1 hour a week. And then you came in and imposed tariffs. And all of that foreign junk that they were dropping into our country stopped. And we're now going to double shifts, 7 days a week, and we may be very soon going to 24 hours around the clock, almost 7 days a week. He said, sir, I want to kiss you so badly. And I said, no, thank you. But you know what? He just to finalize it, he said, oh, this is a great place in Georgia. He said, all up and down the highway, same exact answer, sir. We're all going out of business. We're going to go bankrupt. We're all going out of business. And now every one of us are thriving, and we're hiring people like we haven't. He said, like I've never, and he's been in business for, I think, 45 years, like we've never hired before. That's because of tariffs. And we're going to keep it going the same way. And you're going to start to see the results in a year from now when all those factories start that are under construction right now. You see all the construction numbers are so good. Those construction workers are building factories that are going to be open, including not only AI, which is big, but car plants coming in from Canada, who ripped us off for 30% of our market. Mexico ripped us off for a big portion. Over the years, they've taken our market. They've taken our cars. They manufacture them in Japan, Germany, and all over the place because nobody's standing in this position. The position I have as President of the United States had the insight, the courage, well, I don't know what it is, to charge tariffs. You can make your product outside. You can put our people out of business. You can put everybody on the unemployment rolls. But if you're going to make a car in some other country, you're going to pay a 15, 20, 30% tariff. And those things would have never happened. We wouldn't have lost our business. Same thing with, as an example, Taiwan. Taiwan came in. They stole our chip business. They make chips. For 30 years longer, they made chip. And they put our companies. Intel would be now the largest company. I saved Intel. I literally saved it at the beginning of this administration. And now all those companies in Taiwan are building factories in Arizona, Texas, and various other places because they don't want to pay tariffs. They're all pouring into the United States. But just like that great patriot said yesterday, sir, what you've done, nobody thought was possible. And Steve Moore, a highly respected economist, came into my office yesterday. He said, you've done something nobody's ever done. 22 Nobel Prize winners in economics said we would right now be in a recession. And you said, no, we're going to have a booming country. We're going to have a booming country. You were right. All 22 were wrong, and you were right. This country is booming, and it's booming because of the election on November 5th, and it's booming for another reason. It's booming because of tariffs. Yeah, please, go ahead.
What was said ahead of this decision that if the Supreme Court...
Please, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. What will you say to foreign nations who seek to renegotiate their deals? And what did you mean a moment ago when you said that the Supreme Court has been swayed by foreign interests?
Well, I think that foreign interests are represented by people that I believe have undue influence. They have a lot of influence over the Supreme Court, whether it's through fear or respect or friendships, I don't know. But I know some of the people that were involved on the other side, and I don't like them. I think they're real slime balls. And got to do what's right for the country. You got to do what's right for the Constitution. That's why I respect so much Justice Thomas and Alito, Kavanaugh, because they not only dissented, their dissent is so strong. When you read their dissent, a lot of times you'll read a dissent and it's like, well, you don't know, it could go either way. There's no other way. The good news is, it's like Justice Kavanaugh said, very strongly said, you have other ways you can go. You don't have to go that way. You can go other way. There are numerous other ways you can go. And frankly, this should have been done by presidents many years ago. They allowed our country to be eaten alive. We lost 50% of our car business. We used to make cars. We made all the cars. And then Mexico came, Canada came, Japan and Germany. But they're all coming back now. They're all coming back at record levels. No, please. I'm not talking to you. I don't talk to CNN. It's fake news. Go ahead.
Mr. President, yesterday you made the case that the economy is the hottest it's been in a long time. Right. January jobs report beat expectations, CPI report beat expectations, real wages are up. What would you tell Americans who are worried that this decision will kind of throw the economy that you have projected going in the right direction at a very rapid pace off track?
Well, thank you for the question. And I will say this, we really are at a very important point. I've been waiting for this decision so long. They could have made this decision a long time ago. Not complex. They're wrong on it. It's a ridiculous decision. But they should have released this a long time ago. We waited months. And that gave uncertainty. Now we have certainty. And I think you're going to see the country get much stronger because of it. Look, we were ripped off by almost every country in the world. If you look at the surpluses, almost every country in the world that did business with us, our people were stupid. And I blame presidents for it because they're ultimately the leader. We were being ripped off by almost every single country in the world had some massive surpluses. China had hundreds of billions of dollars in surpluses with the United States. They rebuilt China. They rebuilt the army. We built China's army by allowing that to happen. I have a great relationship with President Xi, but he respects our country now. Now, what we've done, I charged China a 20% tariff as a penalty for sending fentanyl in. And that was 20 times more than they could make by selling fentanyl. And I said, at some point you're going to say, and they have reduced it. Fentanyl is down by more than 30% coming into our country. Part of that is our strong border. We have a strong border now. But thank you. Thank you for your question.
We're going to stay very close to these incredibly important remarks.
Wow. They're not taking his questions anymore? Fuck. Fox. Gotta go to Fox. Bullshit. I hate when they cut away.
Place, but it's more complicated. It's a little more complicated. The process takes a little more time, but the end result is going to get us more money, and I think it's going to be great. Yeah, please. Peter, go ahead.
Thank you, President Trump. So, since Liberation Day, there's about $175 billion in tariff revenue that is now in limbo. Do you have to refund $175 billion?
Think of it, Peter. Very fair question. They take months and months to write an opinion, and they don't even discuss that point. We've taken in hundreds of billions of dollars, not millions, hundreds of billions of dollars. And so I said, well, what happens to all the money that we took in? It wasn't discussed. Wouldn't you think they would have put one sentence in there saying that keep the money or don't keep the money, right? I guess it has to get litigated for the next 2 years. So they write this terrible, defective decision, totally defective. It's almost like not written by smart people. And what they do, they don't even talk about that. Your question is very basic. That was the first question I asked also to make you feel good. They said, what about all the money that we've taken in? Sir, they don't discuss that. How crazy is that?
What you're saying is, are you saying that you don't plan to honor refunds for companies that file for them?
I just told you the answer, right? I told you the answer. It's not discussed. We'll end up being in court for the next 5 years. Go ahead, Green.
Thank you, Mr. President. When you were talking about the relationship with countries that you have sought trade deals with, do you anticipate that they will seek to renegotiate those? What do you say to them, and do you view this as a potential undermining power for your
We're going
negotiations?
straight ahead with 10% straight across the board, which was the absolute right to do. And that's taking place. That's a lot of money coming into a country. And then during that period of about 5 months, we are doing the various investigations necessary to put fair tariffs or tariffs, period, on other countries. So we're doing that period, but we're immediately instituting the 10% provision, which we're allowed to do. And in the end, I think we'll take in more money than we've taken in before.
Mr. President, you've used the tariff revenue to pay for a host of federal policies. You claim that they'll pay for them. What happens
Well,
to
like
those
the
things?
farmers, we took care of farmers. You know, the farmers were mistreated by foreign countries very badly, very, very badly. And last week I gave them $12 billion out of tariff money. We intend to, out of tariff money, because just so you understand, we have tariffs. We just have them in a different way. And now they've been confirmed by the Supreme Court of the United States. So there's no longer that question out there about tariffs. And we'll be taking in hundreds of billions of dollars. And countries that have treated us badly will have to pay a price for treating us badly. And countries that have been good to us will be treated very well. We just left the top person in a place called Vietnam, just left my office. Great gentleman, strong and smart. He said, you know, I think this means you're allowed to charge us more tariffs than before. And Canada said to Jameson, I might want to say it, Jameson, but Canada said, I hope you win this decision, because if you don't win, you'll actually be allowed to charge us with a little additional work, higher tariffs. Jameson, you want to comment on that?
Yes, sir. So, to the President's point, we have a lot of tools out there. We have Section 122, which will be implemented today, it will be signed today and implemented very shortly. We have Section 301 investigations, which are incredibly legally durable, where we can investigate and address unfair trading practices that have led to our huge trade deficit. And so you can look forward in the coming days and weeks to seeing all of that come out, and we're going to keep continuity in the program. We're going to keep addressing this so that the deficit can keep going down. That's the trend it has, and we can make America great again.
No.
Several of Republicans in Congress have supported this decision by the Supreme Court, and Hakeem Jeffries, the Democratic leader, has called you a wannabe king. Why wouldn't
a low IQ?
But why wouldn't
He doesn't even know. And I watched him the other day interview. The guy doesn't even know what a tariff
But
is.
there's been bipartisan criticism
They're not
of the
bipartisan.
tariffs.
Excuse me.
There's several
A few
Republicans
people.
have said that.
Yeah,
Well,
a
why
few
wouldn't
people.
you just work with Congress to come up with a plan?
I don't have to.
push tariffs.
I have the
through?
right to do tariffs, and I've always had the right to do tariffs, and it's all been approved by Congress, so there's no reason to do it. All we're doing is we're going through a little bit more complicated process, not complicated very much, but a little more complicated than what we had. We'll be able to take in tariffs, more tariffs, and the Congress people, and the Congress.
The Canadian tariffs last week.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
been votes in the Senate against it.
Yeah, because we lost 2 Republicans or 3 Republicans because they're not good Republicans. What you don't say, you don't say that we got 215 votes.
You need 218 for something to pass.
Yeah, sure we do. We might have lost 3 votes, and what was the score on the Republican side? 215 to 3, right? But you don't say that. We have great unity. There's great unity in the Republican Party, and I hope everyone's going to vote Republican, because otherwise you won't have a country left, because these people have been they are destroying our country. Please.
Mr. President, the 122 tariffs at 10%, is that going to be for 150 days, or do you want to charge that indefinitely?
We have a right to do pretty much what we want to do, but we're going to charge it starting effectively, I think it's 3 days from now. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, you speak to a lot of factory workers, a lot of manufacturing workers. What does the Supreme Court ruling say? What's that message to those factory workers?
Well, I think the factory workers are happy because we're now telling them that they're going to... Look, the man I met with yesterday who owned a factory was out of business. He was out of business. And now he's employing 5 times. In fact, I walked in, he's got a brand new crane. I said, how old is that crane? We got it in December. He's allowed to write it off in 1 minute. The Great Big Beautiful Act gave no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime. He said this great big beautiful bill, frankly, has been the best thing that's ever happened for the workers much more so than for rich people. The only thing it does for rich people, it allows them to hire a lot more people. But when I saw him, and then he said it's all up and down the line. This is a place in Georgia, all up and down. Other factories doing different, not only steel products, different. He said every one of us was out of business. We could barely make it. I mean, some of them were down to less than an hour a week. Think of it, 1 hour a week to make just a few little trinkets or whatever they make. Now they're going round the clock. I had it a month ago. I went to Michigan, went to Ford, and I met with Bill Ford, the head of Ford, and we were in one of the biggest plants, an original plant from the early 1900s, where, by the way, I might add this, it's not really relevant, but it's all relevant. Murders are down the lowest since 1900, around the time that he had this plant. That's 125 years we have the lowest murder rate. Okay. And our crime is way down in the country. The factories that we're talking about, the people that we're talking about, they are so thrilled with Trump. So whether we charge IEEPA tariffs or whether we charge tariffs under a different section, that's what we're going to be doing. There's no way we can ever... This is what happened to our country. This is why we owe $38 trillion, which we'll get rid of in pretty good course. We have a very incompetent Fed chairman who likes high interest rates. For political reasons, he likes them. But we're going to have somebody very good. Interest rates should come down very substantially. I think we should pay the lowest interest rates on the planet. There should be no country, and we don't do that. We're number 38. This is just bad policy for a long period of time. But what's happened is we've made America strong again. We've made America great again. We should pay. As an example, the country of Switzerland, we were getting almost no tariffs on them. We had a $40 billion deficit. And the Prime Minister called me up. She said, but we are a small country, because I said we're going to raise it to 39% from nothing. That would have rendered them not very successful. As opposed to right now, they're considered elite. But if we put a tariff, they would. And I realized then, she said, but sir, we are a small country. I said, you're a small country with a big deficit. For us, you're making a lot of money off the United States. If we do that, a lot of these elite countries, they're elite because we let them make so much money. And I want them to do well. But I don't want them to do well on the backs of the American taxpayer. So I appreciate your question. I think it's safe.
President Trump, you said that you were disappointed with that, but were you surprised with this decision? What you felt when you...
I was surprised because I thought that what we did was, number one, according to... I read the paragraphs. I read very well. Great comprehension. I read everything there is to read, and I said, we can't lose this case. but we can when judges are political, when they want to be politically correct, when they're catering to a group of people in D.C. Maybe I don't know what it is, because when you read it, there's no other interpretation. There is no other interpretation, but it's okay, because what has come out, I'll say it for the third time and maybe the last time in a while, is that we've taken the uncertainty of tariffs out, because we had uncertainty. We got sued by sleazebags, I know them well, that are very outside country, China-centric, but outside country-centric. And they're going to end up not doing as well as they did before. America was becoming really, we're strong again. Hey, we have the strongest military. I rebuilt the military in the first term. We have the most powerful military. We make the best equipment. And even them, we could do much better. We have people that get paid a lot of money to manufacture Patriot missiles and javelins and all the different things, but when you want them, they're too slow, and we put them on notice, and they're going to make. Our country is building a lot of things right now, and our country is doing really well, and we're going to keep it that way. The bottom line is that the word certainty is now in the equation. Every single thing I said today is guaranteed certainty. It's been tested, as Jameson said 1,000 times. Literally, I said hundreds of times. He said, sir, actually thousands of times, and won in all of the courts. And we're just going back to that. And the problem is that we had other presidents that weren't into trade. Maybe they weren't business oriented. Maybe they weren't smart. We had some dummies too, respectfully say we had some real dummies. So we are going to keep it going just as before, probably more so, but you're no longer going to be asked. Every time I got up, you'd ask, well, what happens if you can't charge tariffs? Now we can. And by the way, in their decision, they specifically said, we can do these. We have alternatives. Yeah.
David, on the trade deals that were negotiated using IEEPA tariffs,
Yeah.
do those stand now, or are they have to be
Well,
redone?
some of them stand. Many of them stand. Some of them won't, and they'll be replaced with the other tariffs.
Mr. President, on the Supreme Court justices who ruled against the policy, striking it down, are they still invited to your State of the Union
Yeah.
next week? And will you speak with them?
They are invited, barely. Barely. 3 are happily invited. No, they're barely invited. Honestly, I couldn't care less if they come. Okay. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. On the trade deal, which is the framework which is to be signed with India sometime soon, will that stand now? And on the decision, nothing changes.
No, nothing changes. They'll be paying tariffs. And we will not be paying tariffs. Our deal with India is they pay tariffs. This is a reversal from what it used to be, as you know. India, and I think Prime Minister Modi is a great gentleman, a great man, actually. But he was much smarter than the people that he was against in terms of the United States. He was ripping us off in India. So we made a deal with India, and it's a fair deal now. And we are not paying tariffs to them, and they are paying tariffs. We did a little flip.
As of now for this, Mr. President.
No, the India deal is on.
So much, Mr. President.
All the deals are on. We're just going to do it a different way.
Mr. President. Thank you so much, Mr. President. I think there's another war that you saw that you should take the curbs, which is in Syria. Secretary Rubio, after his meeting in Munich with the Syrian foreign minister and the Kurdish general Muslim Abdi, he said that President Trump was directly involved in efforts to stop the fighting between the Kurds and the Syrians. How will your administration make sure that this peace is sustained? And do you support the idea?
Well, it's a very different topic, and so I don't want to spend a lot of time. But all I can say is that the president of Syria, who I essentially put there, is doing a phenomenal job. He's a rough guy. He's not a choir boy. A choir boy couldn't do it. But Syria is coming together, really coming together well. And thus far, he's been very good to the Kurds. Yeah.
Thank you. Mr. President, what's your message to the Iranian people after 2 rounds of talks with them? Do you have any message to the Iranian people?
The Iranian people in Iran or people here?
People in Iran.
They better negotiate a fair deal. You know, the people of Iran are a lot different than the leaders of Iran. And it's very, very A very sad situation. But 32,000 people were killed over a relatively short period of time. They were going to hang 800, 2 weeks ago, hang, some by crane. They lift them up with a tall crane and they play them around the square. They were going to hang 837 people. And I gave them the word, if you hang one person, even one person, that you're going to be hit right then and there. I wasn't waiting 2 weeks and negotiating. And they gave up the hanging. They didn't hang 837. Supposedly they didn't hang anybody. But now I feel very badly for the people of Iran. They've lived in hell. Please.
Mr. President, you mentioned multiple times foreign influence over the Supreme Court. Do you have evidence of that? And if not, will you investigate that?
You're going to find out.
What alternatives are you going to put into place in your relationship with Europe and also those tariffs that have been called illegal? How they're going to go impact the relationship with Russia, your sanctions?
Well, I want Europe to strengthen up. Europe has gone woke. Europe is not recognizable when you go into so many places. Not all countries. You look at Hungary. You look at Poland, Czech, Slovakia. There are some countries that have gone very much the opposite. Some really, and some others. But Europe has to be strong, and they become soft and not recognizable. You go into some of the countries, I don't want to be specific, but I think everyone knows what I'm talking about, and they're not recognizable. They become, the environmentalists have taken over. They've got windmills destroying their fields and their beautiful meadows and their oceans, and they're paying a fortune. Now, Europe has to get smart. Europe's getting killed on two things, energy and immigration. And if they don't solve both of them fast, Europe is not the same place. Yeah, please.
Justices Gorsuch and Barrett, are you surprised in particular by their decision today? And do you regret nominating them?
Oh, shit.
I don't want to say whether or not I regret. I think their decision was terrible. Yeah. I think it's an embarrassment to their families. You want to know the truth?
Wow.
The two of them. Yeah.
Specifically on that $2,000 tariff check.
Mr. President,
I didn't call you.
You didn't call me?
Yeah, Mr. President, to be clear, do you believe at the end of implementing these new tariff tools, the tariff rate and tariffs will ultimately be higher than they currently are?
Potentially higher.
Wow.
It depends, whatever we want them to be. But
Higher
we want them to be
tariffs?
fair for other countries.
Shit.
And, we have some countries
My
that have
coffee's
treated
going to
us
$30
really badly for years.
It's already up.
And it's going to be high for them. And we have other countries that have
40%.
been very good, and it's going to be very reasonable for them. Yeah.
Specifically on the tariffs question, on the $2,000.
I didn't call you.
Mr. President, thank you, Mr. President. Do you have any plans to travel to India for the
He can be
summit?
downright rude, man. He really can.
Right now.
I think my relationship with India is fantastic. And we're doing trade with India. India pulled out of Russia. India was...
He goes to those he chooses for their
it's,
questions because he doesn't want to
oil
get the other questions from
from
hardball.
Russia, right? And they pull
He's
way
very
back at my
selective.
request because we want to settle that horrible
Because
war
he doesn't
where
want to take
25,000
those tough
people are dying
questions. He
every
wants to
month.
get the
And my
the
relationship
softball-y
with
ones.
Prime Minister Modi is...
He's not
I would
stupid
say,
for that.
great. I also stopped the war between India and Pakistan, as you know. There were 10 planes were shot down. That war was going, and probably going nuclear. And just yesterday, the Prime Minister of Pakistan said President Trump saved 35 million lives by getting them to stop. And I did it largely with tariffs. I said, look, you're going to fight, that's fine, but you're not going to do business with the United States, and you're going to pay a 200% tariff, each country. And they called up and they said, we have made peace. Okay? I just want to thank you all. Look, great certainty has been brought back to the economy of the United States and actually the economy of the world, because we generate so much in the world. We're the biggest in the world, and we're now the strongest by far. We were a country that was dead 1.5 years ago. Now we have the hottest country in the world. We're going to keep it that way. Thank you very much, everybody.
That's it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President.
He's done. So there you go. Just a little bit on Iran. 32,000? I wonder who's providing him the numbers. And he keeps bringing that up. That drives me batshit insane. I stopped 800 executions. For how long? 1 day? 2 days? They haven't executed anyone since that, I don't believe. What? Who's giving you this information? Because he said if they executed one person, we would hit them very hard. He just said that. Well, really? Well, if that's the case, you should have hit them really hard fucking 2 weeks ago. Oh my God. It's not about the fake news part. This White House controls that press corps like none before. Like none before. And they have a lot of the conservative media in there, and they refuse to take it from the liberal media. That has been the theme from day one. Whether you want to call it fake or not. A person like me who's independent doesn't want to hear that bullshit. Because I don't sit on either side. I want to hear what everyone's questions are. Whether he likes it or not, he's the president. And the way he treats the press is so rude and disrespectful. Piggy, all the other things he said. There's no defending that. Because no president should act in that type of behavior. That being said, you could see that they were probably told to stick on the tariffs, stick on the topic, and don't go off the rails on questions. Even though there were a couple on Iran. But, I mean, did you really expect him to say anything really about Iran? He's keeping it mum. He's been kind of staying away from that. He's been trying to avoid that. He's smart with that. He's keeping it very close. He's not going to reveal anything. He's not going to say anything. That'd be stupid. Like past presidents have. Like Obama. With Syria, chemical weapons, drawing red lines, telling them, oh, we're going to do something in a couple of weeks, announcing it. Oh, we're coming in 2 weeks. You know what I mean? And you can see I can pick on the other side just as easily. Just as easily because I'm an independent in the middle. And I love being an independent because I can be objective. I love being objective. And I'm going to tell you, just not getting off the politics, that party does not win. The Democrats don't win unless they draw the independents into it. Because party alone will not win you the midterms. You're going to need the independents. And right now, the Republican Party is not doing well with independents. And it may cost them the midterms. That's a fact. So they better start thinking about how they're appealing to that base. Because on party alone, MAGA alone, you are not winning the midterms. That is a fact. Same thing with the liberal progressive on the left. They're not going to win based just solidly on their base. You have to come somewhere to the middle people and say, okay, this is what we offer. This is what we're going to do. So far, it's not working out too well. Especially with the younger people. Definitely not working out too well. And definitely the Hispanics that helped get him there in 2024 are now backing away from him. And the Republican Party, the people that are in office that are sticking to their guns, backing him up, are going to pay the ultimate price for themselves in the midterms if they don't start appealing to the independent base. That's a fact. Anybody can dispute it. MAGA, the lefty, progressive people on that side, they can deny it. But the fact is, you have to appeal to the center. You're not going to win without them. And it's not helpful. It's not helpful. Because people are saying, my God, what the hell is going on? Of course, and I don't believe in polls. You know for sure, even if there's a poll, 35 to 40% are going to back everything he says because that's the Republican base. The Republican base is like 90% behind him, whether it's MAGA, moderates. He's going to have that base core. But you can't win with 35, 40%. Neither can the Democrats. They can't. So what do? You appeal to those people. And right now, they're not doing a good job appealing to the center, to the independents. They're not. At all. But neither are the Democrats. I don't see anything the Democrats are doing that is coming toward the middle to appeal to the middle. So they're both. They're both, in my opinion, in this situation where it's like, what the... You know what I mean? And I'm not, like I said, I piss off people on both sides because I'm an independent. Because I want to remain objective. It's not us against them. It's all of us together trying to come together to coexist with each other instead of creating hate and division and all this nonsense. If you're not on our side, you're my enemy. That kind of stupidity nonsense. And that's what's dysfunctional in this country. It is so bad. It is so bad. And I blame both sides. I don't blame one side. I blame the both. Because they're both with the rhetoric. It's so, these are supposed to be the people that lead people. And people listen to their words. And they're so fucking irresponsible on the things that comes out of their mouth. Like it's a joke. Like it's funny. Can we please have people that represent, that are moral, principled, can speak from a higher point of view level, taking the higher road instead of getting to that gutter? Because we've been so numbed down now with the gutter talk that everybody's used to it. Like it's normal. I don't know. I'm done venting. So, as what I just said is an example how hard it is to keep democracy going. Iran is going to struggle to build that foundation of democracy. And if you think, like what goes on in this country between Democrats, Republicans, Independents, Libertarians, whatever, transhumanists, imagine dealing with all the different factions creating a government in Iran and how difficult it's going to bring all those parties together if it is the way it is here, as an example. People should look at that and think about that. Trying to bring unity in the country where there's so many different factions. That is going to be difficult. Look what goes on here, for example. That should show you. That should be something to look as a model on how things go. You could use that for the UK or anywhere else. Canada. Canada has a lot of the conservative liberal, so does the UK. And look what goes on politically. So how difficult do you think it's going to be for Iran to create a democratic parliament with all the different factions, all the different groups in there to come together? Because that's one of the biggest problems there, is bringing the people together. You know what I mean? So, and like I said, I don't want to get off on this spin, but to me, that's the realistic way to look at things. Like, and I'll just say one more thing. I live in a moderate Republican county. Right here. But you know what we do sometimes? We vote for a Democrat. God forbid you should do that somewhere else.